my friends. Just yesterday we were talking about the decrease in Russian activity. Today, however, the number of attacks has increased again in most directions. But let's start with the shelling. The occupiers continue to strike Ukrainian territory, including the incessant shelling of border villages in the Chernihiv, Sumy and Kharkiv regions. And Kuleba said that if the US doesn't provide enough assistance to Ukraine to close the sky, then they can't prohibit strikes on Russian territory either.
Я не вірю, і я думаю, ніхто в Україні не повірить, що величезна армія Сполучених Штатів Америки не має принаймні однієї батареї «Патріот», якою можна врятувати на мільярди доларів інфраструктуру в Україні і безцінні українське життя. Я повторюсь своє запитання просто до вас. От ви вірите, що Америка не може зараз дати одну батарею? А якщо партнери кажуть, ми вам даємо 7 батарей завтра патріотів, але у нас до вас прохання, можна не робити ось цього, ось цього і ось цього? Тоді є предмет для розмови. А якщо у тебе немає цих батарей, немає пакету допомоги, і при цьому тебе щось просять не робити, ну тоді немає предмету. Тоді про що говорити? Тоді кожен виживає як може.
Now, let's turn to the situation along the front line and let's start with the Kupiansk direction. Here, the occupiers, as before, are not conducting offensive actions and shelling continues. There have been no changes along the front line, but they have enough troops, so activation is expected in this direction in the near future. In the area of Svatove, the occupiers show no activity at all, and everything remains unchanged. In the direction of Kreminna, the occupiers have resumed attacks on the village of Terny. 4 attacks have already been recorded here, and shelling along the front line continues in large quantities. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers have increased the number of attacks and have conducted about 15 assaults in the areas of Vuhledar, Spirne and Vuhledar over the past day. So the situation is difficult. But despite this, the Ukrainian Armed Forces still hold the front line unchanged. In the direction of Chasiv Yar, the occupiers continue their offensive actions in the Novy micro-district, as well as battles for Ivanyivka, Klishivka and Avdiivka. So there have been about 15 assaults per day, and the situation remains extremely challenging. Shelling continues in large quantities, but there have been no changes along the front line over the day, and the fighting continues. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers conducted 12 attacks, so they have resumed attempts to capture Semenivka and expand the controlled territory near the village of Pervomaiske. And unofficial reports from Semenivka suggest that as a result of the recent attacks, the occupiers have managed to advance another 700 meters.
Avdiivka direction. In Semenivtsi, fighting is going on near the intersection in the central part of the village. The enemy advanced to a depth of 700 meters in the northern direction.
But for now, we await official statements. Meanwhile, attacks on Novobakhmutivka near Pervomaiske and offensive actions towards the village of Umanske continue. Shelling also persists along the entire front line. In the direction of Marinka, the occupiers conducted more than 10 attacks per day. So the main battles are taking place around Krasnohorivka, Novobakhmutivka, and in the area of the village of Pobeda, as they attempt to expand the controlled territory. Additionally, all pre-front line villages are intensively shelled, but there have been no successes for the Russians over the day. In the Vuhledar direction, just yesterday, I mentioned that the occupiers had ceased attacks on Vuhledar, and today new assaults have resumed in this direction. Additionally, battles are ongoing for Urozhaine and Stromoyorske. Attacks have also commenced in the area of Priutne. but no changes along the front line have been recorded over the day. So we await the outcome of the ongoing battle. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, challenge continues, but no new assault operations have been reported. Meanwhile, Russian war correspondents report that yesterday they attempted an attack using motorcycles.
Today, our forces from groups of 70 small and medium-sized infantry regiments tried to storm the village twice. Rabatino. Once, according to the experience of the Donetsk direction, there was even an attempt to attack on motorcycles. To no avail. This is how we fight. We started the SVO on tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers. Then we moved on to Urals and Shoigu golf carts covered with mesh and steel sheets. And now we are storming on motorcycles. The next stage will probably be horses, which we will buy in Mongolia, since our Russian ones are no longer available in large numbers.
Overall, the Ukrainian Armed Forces indeed maintain a strong defense and prevent the Russians from advancing. In the Kherson direction, challenge of the right bank continues, and attempts to push Ukrainian forces out of the bridgehead on the left bank are being observed. However, all attempts have been unsuccessful and the front line remains stable. Meanwhile, Russian war correspondents are publishing reports confirming the transportation of motorcycles to the front lines.
Alexei from Sevastopol gave us a completely new motorcycle and generator for the soldiers at the front. Another subscriber to the channel 2 Majors sent a set of new tires through Ozon. Thanks to such Russian men who stand at the rear of hopes in the same ranks with the Russian soldier, we will win. The guys will receive twice as much help as we expected.
Meanwhile, Scholz, while in China, called on its leader not to assist Russia.
Scholz warned China not to support Russia's war against Ukraine. He noted that Russia's attack on Ukraine is not only a European problem, because if the conflict spreads, it will become a threat to peace and security on the whole planet. In his opinion, if Russian aggression becomes widespread, it will encourage other countries to make corrections in history.
Very interesting statement, but it's unlikely that China will listen to Scholz. Meanwhile, it's reported that 90 US congressmen have called on Speaker Johnson to immediately consider a package of aid to Israel and Ukraine following Iran's attacks on Israel.
Congressmen urged Speaker Johnson to immediately consider aid to Ukraine and Israel. More than 90 members of the U.S. House of Representatives in a letter urged Speaker Mike Johnson to consider a bill with money for Ukraine and Israel.
So, we are looking forward to good news regarding assistance to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russian propagandists are calling for the execution of all those who oppose Putin.
Что касается виселиц и вешателей, был у нас такой в нашей отечественной истории. Граф Муравьев, вешатель, всем известный. Он был родственник повешенного декабриста, другого Муравьева. И когда ему на это пеняли, он говорил: я не из тех Муравьевых, которых вешают, я из тех Муравьевых, которые вешают сами. И действительно повесил публично 128 боевиков, которые, естественно, западная пресса называла никакими не боевиками, а инсургентами, повстанцами, участников польского восстания, которые творили немыслимые зверства во время этого восстания не только по отношению к военнослужащим российским, но и по отношению к духовнослужителям и простым людям. Известная история, как пожилую женщину-помещицу повесили там на люстре, на свечах. Вот он повесил их 128 человек, и я что хочу сказать. Вот такие вешатели нам нужны. Уж не знаю, дойдет ли до Польши или нет, но даже те территории, которые уже наши, очень нам нужна та дисциплина, о которой ты рассказывал в начале.
And that's not all. Some of them want to grab the attention of Ukrainians and claim that the cost of a precision missile launched at Ukraine equals the construction of a school.
У нас высокоточное оружие стоит очень дорого. Я вот на это хочу обратить внимание украинской аудитории. одна высокоточная ракета стоит, ну, чтобы вот в цифрах вас не загружать, примерно как одна средняя школа. Вот построить школу среднюю с нуля, с котлована до туй, которые будут ее окружать, с бассейном стоит столько же, сколько запустить одну высокоточную ракету. Вот чтобы мы понимали стоимость этих запусков.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.